So if you get the objection, I need to think about it a lot in your sales calls, and you're an online coach who sells B2C, okay? So this isn't really if you're selling to like businesses or whatever. This is more for you're an online fitness coach, for example, and you have a weight loss or muscle building program, okay? That kind of thing. Or you're like a mindset coach, or a specific business coach, or you help people start their businesses online. Whatever it is, this video is perfect for you. So if you constantly get the objection, I need to think about it, as I'm sure you probably know by now, this is what's known as a smokescreen objection. It's not a real objection, okay? They don't really need to think about it, okay? Decisions aren't made by someone going away, taking the time to think about it, and then being like suddenly, okay, I want to do it. I need to think about it basically means I'm not sure, there's something that I'm not sure about that is kind of making me go, ooh, I don't know if I should do this, or they're politely declining, okay? So that's the first point, is you have to understand this is not a real objection. Second point you've got to understand is there are three things right here, which I'm going to reveal to you right now, which the prospect needs to fully trust in and fully believe in order for the sale to be closed. Okay. And if you understand these three things right here, you will understand how to handle this objection. I need to think about it every single time. Okay. Remember, decisions are made with information and not time. So someone doesn't have to go away and think about it. They just need all the information they need in order to be able to say yes or no. So let's go through the three things someone has to completely believe in order for them to be okay with purchasing your product or service. So the first one is very, very simple. The first thing that they have to believe in is you. So that's like you, the salesperson, or you, the business owner, whatever it is, they have to believe in you. They have to believe that you are being truthful with the claims that you're making. They have to believe you're an honest person. They have to believe that you're not just there to scam them. Okay. That one's very, very simple. That one's pretty easy to do, to be honest with you. Okay. That's building the trust basically in the sales call. Okay. You do that by just being presentable, by speaking like a normal human being, by not being shady, by, I don't know, having some good social proof, all these kind of things. It's like this one, the getting the prospect to trust in you. It's not that difficult. You don't have to put that much effort into it. Okay. Sometimes you can go overboard to try and get people to trust you by being weird or saying weird things or making weird claims. You don't actually have to do that. Okay. This is the easiest one to do. Just conduct your sales process in a normal, like straightforward way, and be like a normal, genuine, empathetic human being, and people will trust you. Okay, that one's very simple. We're not going to really cover that one in this video because, again, it's very, very simple. Okay, here's the next one. They have to believe in your product, or if you're selling a service, your service. Okay, this is important because someone could be like, hey, Lucian, I fully trust you and I like you a lot and I get along with you well and I don't think you're out here to do anyone any harm and I think you have good intentions, but your specific solution, your product or service, I'm not sure if I believe in that itself. I'm not sure if I believe it's going to work. I'm not sure if it's actually going to get the results. I'm not a big fan of the method. Okay, for example, let's use a different example. I don't know if you're an online agency owner, like a marketing or lead generation agency owner, and your product, your method, or your service revolves around cold emailing. Okay, so sending cold emails. And let's just say someone in the past has had a bad experience with cold emails, but they're like, Lucian, I trust you. I just don't trust the whole cold email thing. Well, that's because they don't trust your product or service. They don't believe in it. Okay, so that's point number two. And then point number three is themselves. And this is the big one. This is going to be the big talking point of this video right here. Oftentimes what happens is the prospect trusts you. They trust your methods, so your product or service, okay? But at the end of the day, they don't trust themselves to be able to take what you're giving them, the service or the information or the coaching or whatever it is, they don't trust themselves to take that and then actually do the effort and what's required on their end in order to get an amazing result. And that's where the real problem lies in many, many sales calls that I review and I watch from people selling things B2C to like individuals. And that's, again, the topic of this video is how do we get the prospect to trust in themselves in order to not get this objection of, I need to think about it. Because the most frustrating thing is if you come across presentable and trustworthy, the prospect then trusts you. If you then present or pitch a product or service which is fantastic, which you know works, which has a proven track record to work for other people in similar situations to the prospect, and the prospect also trusts that, but at the end of the day, the prospect still goes, I'm not sure, because they don't believe in themselves. It's the most frustrating experience as a salesperson because you're there like, I did everything I could. Why does this person just not believe in themselves? Okay, I'm going to show you, first of all, how to identify when this is the issue of them not believing in themselves. And then I'm going to show you how to make sure this doesn't happen. And if it does happen, how to handle it. So let's start off, first of all, by identifying how we can, let me show you, first of all, how you can identify if someone has a problem believing in themselves. Okay, first things first. What you guys need to understand is this sales process right here. I don't care what you sell, if it's B2C, B2B, whatever it is, coaching, training, done for you services, corporate solutions, whatever it is, this is the sales process you want to follow. Yes, you can split this up into multiple different calls. I don't care. But believe me, I've closed a bunch of sales. I've closed crazy upfront paying fools, like insane amounts. I've trained a bunch of people. I've got a bunch of people amazing results. This is the sales process you want to follow. This is the one I follow. This is the one I teach to everyone, that everyone gets amazing results with. Okay, I'll run you through it very, very quickly. Again, you can split this up into multiple different calls or do it all in one call, whatever suits your situation best. You go introduction, discovery phase, transition, pitch, commitment phase, and then finally close, where you either, collect the money or you schedule the next call. Now, here's the important part I want you guys to understand. This objection of I need to think about it will happen right around here if you do this sales process correctly, okay? I'm not going to try and teach you guys how to handle the objection if you're doing the wrong kind of sales process, because you're just fighting an uphill battle. I'd rather show you how to do it properly, okay? So here's what you need to understand again. What you're first of all doing is a quick intro, which is just basically like the prospect joins the call. Maybe you can make some sort of conversation about what they have in the background. If not, skip that, skip the small talk, whatever. And then you go straight to framing the call. It's not going to be a detailed video about how to do this, but framing the call is just setting the expectation, telling them, hey, I'm going to ask you some questions to see if I can actually help you. Okay. Then you go to the discovery phase. Now, here is where the magic really, really happens. Okay. The discovery phase is the most high leverage part of the sales process. It's the most high leverage part and the most important part. If you want to focus on getting good at just one of these phases, which you should get good at all of them, but just one phase to start off with, if you're a beginner or someone who wants to improve, focus on getting really, really, really good at the discovery phase. All of the magic happens there. Okay, from discovery, you transition, which is just basically where you tell someone, hey, I think you're a good fit. Can I show you what we've got to help you? Basically, can I present you my solution? And then you go to the pitch. Okay. After the pitch, you do a commitment phase, and right here is typically around the temperature check. Temperature check, we won't go into it, but it's like you do the scale of 1 to 10, ask them how they feel about it, all this kind of stuff. This is usually where they're going to have questions and probably objections. Okay, so now we're at the point where we get here and the prospect says, yeah, you know what, I'm just not sure. There's something about this, can you please just tell me the price so I can go away and think about it? Okay. At this stage, what you want to do is you want to identify why they've said, I'm not sure. Now, how do you do that? It's very, very simple. You just ask them. I don't like to overcomplicate sales. I don't like to kind of be skeevy and whatever. Sometimes I like to just say straight up, hey, Mr. Prospect, so when you say you're not sure, what do you mean exactly? Are you not sure in what I'm telling you, the results you can expect, the methods that we use, or is it perhaps something else? And if you notice that question that I just asked, basically I'm saying, do you not believe me? Do you not believe our product or service? Or is it something else? I don't mention this one right here. And usually what happens is people either say, well, there's this one thing about the way you guys do this. Oh, so now we know that they have an issue with the product itself. And now we can handle it. We can handle that uncertainty. Okay. Now, if they say, yeah, I'm not sure, I'm not feeling it. It's you're great, this is amazing, but I'm just not sure. Then what I would say from there is, so it sounds like you love our product and you believe like we're actually going to deliver a good result for you, but you're maybe unsure whether you can actually take that result and actually turn it into something favorable. So you trust our let's use a weight loss, or let's use like a bodybuilding, mass building program. Okay. So you trust that I know how to coach people just like you to help them, gain a lot of muscle, and you trust that our program will be simple and easy to follow, but maybe you don't trust that you have the dedication and willpower to actually stick to the program and actually, follow through with it. What I'm basically saying right there is, Mr. Prospect, Do you not believe in yourself? Is that the issue? Okay. And then what typically happens from my experience is the prospect goes, you know what, Lucian, that is the issue. I'm just not sure if I can actually do this. Like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to take this amazing stuff you're giving me and turn it into, what I want. Okay. At this point, what you must do is refer back to something that you did in the discovery phase. Now, I'm going to tell you what that is. But before I tell you what you are supposed to do in the discovery phase and the thing you've got to refer back to, here's what I want you to understand. If at this point you get them to admit that the only thing holding them back is the fact that they don't believe in themselves and they don't trust themselves, if you haven't done this thing in the discovery phase, it's going to be very difficult to recover this situation at this point. It's not impossible, okay? But I'm going to show you how to do it properly, okay? So let's go back to the discovery phase now. What you essentially want to do in the discovery phase is identify, let me get rid of this arrow here because this looks terrible. Give me 1 second. Is you essentially want to identify any wins the prospect has had in their life. And this is very, very important. So let's just take, I don't know, the fitness, mass building example. Okay, let's say we're speaking to a guy who's an entrepreneur, and previously, let's just say, down here, his previous situation, was that he was broke, and then he bought an online course, he started a business, and now he's making, let's just say, like 7K per month. Okay. We want to identify this because what we want to do is identify the pattern. The pattern is always going to be the same, okay? But identify the pattern which shows the prospect was in a situation which was not very good down here. And because of doing certain things, the prospect achieved a goal which is fantastic, which they're very happy with. And those certain things, those steps, if you will, to get there, that's the important part. It's what did the prospect do to get to their goal? You want to identify this, and then, very, very, very importantly, you want to get the prospect to verbalize these things. So let me give you an example of how this actually works, because you may be confused at this point. So I would say, Mr. Prospect, out of interest, you mentioned that you're now an entrepreneur, but walk me through your journey. How did you actually get to the point of now where you have this financial freedom? Like, where did you start off from? Oh, well, Lucian, look, yeah, I was broke initially. I was just working like a regular, normal job. I was just like a waiter, basically. And then one day I was fed up and I said, I've had enough of this. And I bought this course to learn how to do e-commerce, drop shipping. And it was kind of tough, but I just I followed the course. I had a mentor, and now I do like e-commerce and I have my drop shipping stores, and I do that full time, and it's amazing. That's what the prospect has said. Gotcha, Mr. Prospect. So what you're saying is you were initially in a situation which was terrible, and then you managed to, achieve a really, really amazing goal, which I'm sure a lot of people have that goal, becoming financially free, all this kind of stuff. And the way you did that, what was it you said? You bought an online course and you followed some steps and you stuck to the program, and then you achieved this outcome, right? And you were determined and you put everything into it. Gotcha, that makes sense. Okay. What I'm essentially doing here is I'm creating tie downs to the facts that I'll write them down here for you guys. The prospect said they worked hard. Excuse my terrible handwriting. They worked hard. They stuck to the program. They followed instructions. And of course, they invested money into this thing in order to learn how to do it. Okay. What we really want to do again is get the prospect to verbalize this. Okay. Sometimes it will take a bit of poking and, digging a little bit to get them to reveal this information. I gave you the ideal scenario there in that mini role play that I did for you, but that's what you want to happen essentially. You want the prospect to say, yes, I was down here at the bottom, now I'm up here, and I did that by taking certain steps. Okay. These certain steps, by the way, are going to be the key to handling this objection of, I'm not sure, I need to think about it because of the facts that I don't believe in myself. So let me show you how to do that now. So if you get to the point in this example that I'm giving here, okay, the prospect has verbalized, the wins they've had in the past. If you get to this point now at the end of the sales call where they say, I need to think about it, and you identify that the problem is themselves, they don't believe in themselves, you can simply say, So what I'm seeing here, Mr. Prospect, what I'm sensing is that you love our product, you love our program, you're just not sure if you're going to be able to take it and achieve like the desired outcome that you want. Yes, Lucian, that's exactly right. Gotcha. Now, just to double confirm, Mr. Prospect, like you trust me and you trust our program 100%. Is that correct? Yes, Lucian, I trust you and I trust your program. It's like I know it's going to it gets people amazing results. Gotcha. I'll pause the role play for you guys right there. It's very important you do that you get them to say, I trust you, I trust your product and your program and your service or whatever it is, 100%. It's very important you guys do that, because what you're doing right there is you're isolating like just the fact they don't believe in themselves. Because what can happen is if you get them to believe in themselves, they could still fall back on the facts. They say, actually, you know what? I'm not sure about your product now. Okay. That's why what we do there is we tie them down to the fact that they trust you, they trust your product or service or coaching program, whatever it is, 100%. So do that first. That's step one. Okay. Step two is you say, so now the only thing that I'm sensing here, Mr. Prospect, is that you maybe don't believe that you actually have the willpower or the guts to put in the work required to actually get there, right? Yeah, that's probably it. Gotcha, Mr. Prospect. And, to be honest with you, what I'm sensing here is maybe you don't want it bad enough. And I'm going to write that one down for you. You don't want it bad enough. Now, of course, obviously, in the discovery phase, you will have identified, let's do it down here. We zoom in. Okay, the prospect is down here currently in their current situation, and they want to achieve their goal up here. Okay, that's a check mark. Okay, basically what you're saying is you don't want it. It's referring to the goal they want to achieve. Okay, you don't want it bad enough. And what typically happens here is people completely flip out and they go, no, 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 I do really want it. I really want to achieve this thing. Okay, you can amplify the effect of this question right here by doing a really good discovery phase. Notice how earlier on I said discovery is the most high leverage thing you can do in sales. This is why everything always ties back and loops back to what you said in the discovery. Okay, so to amplify the effect of this question, make sure you really got the prospect to reveal what their goal is, what their dreams are, the reason for wanting to achieve it, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so what you're saying here is, Mr. Prospect, I feel like, you just maybe just don't want it bad enough. No, no, no. Here's the thing, Lucian. I really want to do this. I really want to achieve my goal. Gotcha. So out of interest, Mr. Prospect, then, if you want it bad enough and you trust us and you trust our solution, why haven't we moved forward yet? It's just, I don't know. There's something. Do you think that you'd be too lazy to actually put the work in to follow the program and all this kind of stuff? Because from what I remember earlier on, Mr. Prospect, you were telling me about how you used to be broke and you had this dream of being financially free, or at least making some more income online. And what you did is you found a coach and a mentor, you bought their program, you followed some very, very specific steps, you stuck to the program, you worked very, very hard, and eventually you achieved your goal. So what I see here, Mr. Prospect, is you have a pattern of actually following through with these kind of things in order to achieve the goal that you set out. You seem like someone who's very determined. You seem like someone that can stick to a program, which is fantastic. That gives me full confidence that you will actually stick to our program as well. So with that being said, Mr. Prospect, do you still think that you wouldn't stick to the program? Or does your previous experiences show you that you really are the kind of person that can stick to things, that can achieve amazing results, especially with a little bit of guidance? Usually, guys, okay, at this point, you don't have to say it verbatim, word for word, like I did, but usually at this point, the prospect goes, you know what? I did achieve that in the past. I did go from a terrible situation, or a situation which I really, really didn't like, to my current situation, which is really good in terms of financials. You know what? I will stick to this fitness program or to this whatever, dating coaching program or whatever it is. I will stick to it because I've done it in the past. So that's why it's really important to reveal these wins, identify these wins that the prospect has had in the past in their life, so that you can use that as an example of them believing in themselves and investing in a coaching program and sticking to it, and then achieving their desired outcome. That's why it's so important, because if you ever get to the point at the end of the sales call where again you identify it's just a lack of belief in themselves, you can refer back to that, and then it's very difficult for them to say, no, yeah, I'm just now I don't believe in myself anymore. Now I'm not going to stick to it, because they have the evidence that they've done that in the past. Okay, so in summary, Here's how you got to think about this. If you get this objection, I need to think about it, okay? Just realize there are 3 reasons why someone wouldn't move forward. And those 3 reasons are they don't trust you, they don't trust your product or service, or they don't trust themselves, okay? Now, in order to handle the third one, because that's usually the most tricky one, because it's almost you've got to like coach someone through that. You've got to coach them into believing themselves, okay? But that's okay. It's just part of sales, especially in B2C. If that happens, the way you handle it is first of all making sure that previously in the discovery phase, you identified their wins, you got them to verbalize their wins, and you got them to verbalize the steps that they took in order to achieve those wins, okay? And as much as possible, you want them to verbalize the steps which are closely related to or very similar to the steps they're gonna have to take with your coaching program, if that makes sense, okay? And then from there, what you do is, once you've identified that that's the problem, you simply refer back to the fact that they've had a win in the past and maybe poke them a little bit and say, maybe you don't really want to do this. You don't seem like you're really dedicated to your goals. Poke them a little bit and then refer back to what they've done in the past. And 99.9% of the time, I've really never seen this fail. The prospects they like kick into overdrive. There's like a sudden fire under them. And they're like, you know what? No, you're right, Lucian. Thank you. Yeah, I am capable of doing this. Let's go. Remember, this will only work if they truly believe. There's an absolute mess on the screen now, excuse me. This will only work if they truly believe in your product and you. If they truly trust in those 2 things, then this will work 100% of the time. Remember how I showed you guys to do that. Make sure you tie them down to the fact that they 100% believe in your product or service to get them to their desired outcome. Okay, remember to do that. So, hope you guys enjoyed that video. One last question you may have is, what happens if I can't identify any wins in my prospect's, life? I've really never seen the case where someone doesn't have any wins in their life, okay? Now, it can be something as small as they used to be a late night eater, a late night snacker, and now they're not anymore. Okay, it could be that they, got a promotion at their job. It could be that they left their toxic relationship. Really, all you're looking for is wins. When I say a win, I'll write this out for you guys. I'll draw it out for you guys. When I say, wins, identify wins, it's where someone started off in a situation which wasn't very good, and through a series of steps or actions or a process, they achieved something better. They changed their situation. You essentially just want to identify moments like this in the prospect's life so that, again, you can refer back to it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you have questions, you know where to find me, and I'll see you in the next one.